person that loves tea probably as much as I do.
Good on her.
She could match me pint for pint in the tea drinking competition. All right, welcome guys, if you're joining us at home. Welcome on into Pilates 9. Just doing some social distancing. There we go. Oh, it's a bit like the rock lobster dance.
Walking through town.
All right, welcome on in everyone. This is Pilates 9, so this is our newest Pilates sequence. So yeah, as always, we're going to get into the abs, work on posture, and lots of work on lower body and strength and conditioning and toning. Public service announcements. So if you are missing the Rise tunage, it is still available, so you can get Spotify. If you go onto Spotify, you can get all our Rise tunages on there. It's also on the website, so if you go to rise.co.uk/online, you can, I'm just admitting people in, to the waiting room, admit all. So yeah, if you want some tunage, you can go on to rise.co.uk online, and all of our Spotify links are on there, or you can just search on Spotify as well. Just lots of people joining in the Zoom room as well today, so if you jump over to rise.co.uk online, you can also join in the Zoom room. Hey Emily, how are you?
Morning, alright, thank you, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, yeah, super good. I went on a really long walk yesterday, somewhat by accident. Emily's got a dog. Cute. Yeah, I went on a really long walk, so I've got quite sore legs, and I also smell a lot of wild garlic. I picked some wild garlic and put it in my bag, which seemed like a great idea at the time, and I keep pulling out my clothes and I'm like, ooh! But, so super nice. Awesome. Yeah, no, we, did you say you've been to Moss Valley, Emily? Yeah, we did a big old loop where you can walk all the way around from the sort of Totley all the way around through Dronfield and then back down through Moss Valley to Cat Lane Woods. Which is
amazing.
It's really good. There's loads of little woods that I didn't realise existed. Just hundreds of them all around the Sheffield area. They're super nice. So, recommended. Just didn't know they were there, which is great.
I think Chris has been here for a ridiculous amount of years, and we walked through Graves Park for the first time, and he was like, stepped in.
Yeah, no, you don't, do you? It's really nice. It's kind of a nice thing about lockdown. You know, when you're normally you'd be like, let's just go out to the peak, and actually there's loads of nice stuff in the city, which is great. I've only been to Graves Park once. It's been been living about 20 minutes away for 4 years, but I'd only just discovered it was there. All right. If you're joining us at home, other things to let you know, we've got our Christmas party in the calendar, so that's the 12th of December, and that is going to be at the Steel Cauldron, Sheffield's finest Harry Potter themed cafe, which do like it on Facebook, find it there, so that is going to be awesome. So super excited about that. Put that date in your calendar as well, 12th of December, something to look forward to. And also our Rise Summer Party, which is going to be at Chris and Jen's lovely farm up in Bowl Hills, and that is going to be on the 20th of July. So things to look forward to. Hopefully we will all be able to get out and have fun by then. Oh, look at this, we've got Sophie P coming in. Oh. Awesome. Right, what time are we on? Start the old Instagram. welcome on into Pilates 9. We're going to get started in about 2 minutes. Just admitting some new. Awesome. Loads of people in the Zoom room. Smashing. Oh, we've got a new sculpt starting on Thursday. I'm well excited. And it's been designed in mind for people who maybe are using wine bottles. So we've got slightly lighter weights, higher reps. So I'm super excited. / a bit scared. It's one of those things I designed it and I was like, cool, that's fine, that's great. Boom. Tried it through and I just was like, oh God, I need to go down to the ones. Oh. But yeah, so that's super exciting. That's Thursday at 8:30. That'll be fun. And we've got 2 minutes to go. How are you, Flora? Are you okay? Good.
Rosie,
Yes.
do me a favour. I don't think we've got sound coming through on Facebook. I can't check.
Ah.
Got the little green bar jumping up and down on the outside as you're talking on the monitor. Otherwise, I should just give you some nudge.
It is jumping up and down on the output bit when I talk, yeah.
Okay, well, that's a good thing. So, do you see where it says on my MacBook Pro where it says audio? Is the smart mic thing jumping up and down as you talk?
Is that on the computer?
It's on the computer, yeah.
Where is it?
There's a tab which says audio, so
Oh right, yeah. I'm on it.
all the different audio inputs.
Yeah.
One of them says smart mic. It's a little bit over to the right. It's probably fair to say, but that should be like a red box around it, jumping up and down.
No, it's got stream out, record out, but it doesn't have smart mic on there.
Okay, don't worry, I'll go through it. As long as the sound's being recorded, when I get to where I need to be in a moment, I will just remotely change that.
All right, cool, smashing.
Back off.
Right,
Back off.
fab guys. Bye. So, what did you say? All right, cool.
Remember,
Insta is on. Insta is currently on.
nice.
We are all over this. All right, team, we've got 28 seconds to get started. So let's come on down and start off in a wide leg child's pose today. So thinking about coming down into a wide leg child's pose to get started. So we've got 20 seconds to go. So knees out wide towards the edges of the mat, hips to heels, stretching the spine long out in front of you. Just closing the eyes. You're all super welcome on into Pilates. So just taking a few moments. Shoulders release, the forehead relax, the head relax. Finding a deep, full, steady inhale. And exhale. Feeling that breath in the spine, in the lower back, in the side body. So just remembering Pilates, all about slow, controlled micro movements. Do just work at your own level, work at your own pace, and do feel free to modify as you need. When you're ready, taking one more deep breath in, and out. And from there, we're just going to roll up and find our way to a table pose. So bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, thinking about spreading the fingers out really wide, grounding down into the fingertips, into the second knuckle, pressing really hard with the hands into the mat. So you start to find activity through the muscles of the upper back. Thinking about squeezing in the core, so you're finding a long flat back. Letting the crown of the head reach forwards, the tailbone slightly find a sense of tucking under, and from there we're just going to tuck the toes, maintaining that long spine, find our way into a plank. From plank, you might want to even slide the toes back a little bit, so you're right on the tippy toes. That's going to help you engage the muscles of the legs. Thinking about squeezing in the core, planting the hands into the mat, press really hard, crown of the head long, and just taking a few moments there, just starting to warm up the body, find the breath, inhaling. Exhaling. So starting off with our plank sequence, we're going to move into standing from there and then come back down to seated and side and supine to finish. So just thinking about pressing really hard with the hands into the mat here, focusing on the breath, taking some deep, full breaths in and out. One more really deep inhale. Exhale. From there, I'm going to start to pike the hips, walk the hands towards the feet, bending the knees if you need to, finding your way into a floppy forward fold, letting the head relax, the shoulders relax, hips be high above the heels, and the whole spine lengthen, soften. Walking the hands back out again from there, we're just walking into walk out. So we're walking the hands forwards, thinking about trying to, as much as you can, avoid wiggling the hands, the hips from side to side, keep the hands grounded, back again. So a really nice way to dynamically warm up the backs of the legs, the calves, the hamstrings. We're starting to feel strength in the arms. Make sure the shoulder blades aren't dropping. We're keeping that sense of strength in the back body. Just starting to warm up the spine, starting to make sure you've got that core switched on as you move. Working here, just a little bit of heat building for 5. So slow, controlled movements. Deep breaths in and out. Remember, you can rest as long as you need in that floppy forward fold. You can just work at your level. 4. If you don't want to walk all the way out to a plank yet, that's awesome as well. Just work to a level, a point that works for you. 3. Thinking about all of those muscles that are starting to recruit. Thinking about finding that awareness of the muscles that are supporting the spine, supporting that long spine. 2. Taking one more walk back. And forwards again. And from there, dropping to the knees, finding your way to a table pose. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Again, thinking about finding that activity through the upper back, that strength in the core. And from there, we're going to work into our little Superman exercise. So extending the left foot and the right hand out, thinking about keeping that core engaged, and returning to center, and then taking it on the other side. So this is level 1. We're just moving hand and foot away from each other, trying as much as we can to keep the core engaged, feeling the glutes come into play as you extend a leg, trying not to wiggle the hips from side to side. If you need to just work with the arms or just the legs, if it's too much to take both at once, do of course feel free. If you want to take it further, we're thinking about extending arm and leg, and then squeezing the core, driving knee to nose. Extending and stretching and lengthening away, and drive, squeeze the core, maybe chin to chest, and then we're swapping over. So thinking about extending and squeezing in, moving with control, extend, squeeze in, recruiting those abdominals, extending and returning to center. All right, if you want to take it further again, pop yourself up into a plank, and you can work that arm and leg lift from a plank. Quite a tricky one to balance. Thinking about using the core, so you really have to fire up those abs to maintain that control. If you want to take a knee drive, do feel free. It's super challenging. Work wherever you need to work this morning. So really slow and controlled. When we slow down motion, when we slow down our movements, that's when we have to work harder through the muscles to maintain stability. And it also gives us the option to really feel into what's going on, to try and avoid using momentum or swinging, and instead to focus on maintaining alignment control. If you're in a plank, as much as you can, try not to stick the bum in the air. Keep that long line through the body. That's going to help you get into the abdominals. Working here for 5. Remember, you can switch around levels if you want to take it down. 4. Nice work, looking great at home. 3. Almost there. 2. And 1, release. From there, just going to bring the hips to the heels and take the palms to the knees. We're taking a little mobilization and lower body exercise. So we're just going to inhale, press the hips high, squeeze the glutes, open the chest wide, and then squeezing in the core, returning through center. So quite a simple movement. We're focusing on really engaging, squeezing, opening out. It's a little bit of a hip thrust, so it's a really nice way to start to feel into the glutes, the quads. We're opening through the chest, and then as you lower, make it slow and controlled. We're working to the abdominals, we're working into the quads. So just a nice little mobilization and movement to start to build some heat, find some strength, find some space. When you come to the top, really think about drawing the shoulders back, stretching out through the chest. A lot of Pilates, we're aiming to undo imbalances that come into the body from everyday activities. So often we end up with quite a tight chest from a lot of forward movements, like sitting at a computer or driving. So really good to start to open out the front side of the body. Thinking about getting into the quads and glutes, super important for both knee health and lower back health. Nice work. Taking one more, thinking about squeezing and pressing and opening up through the chest. And then rolling back. Nice work. From there, we're just going to rock back forwards into a table pose. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Spread the fingers out wide, tuck the toes, and find your way into a plank. So once again, think about pressing really hard. Make sure the shoulder blades are coming apart, the core is engaged, toes are just creeping back. And from there, we can take just a little knee drive to nose, knee drive to nose. Thinking about staying there if you like. If you like, we can add in our little panther squat. So we're sending the hips back towards the heels, just taking a little triple pulse there, and then we're going to drive forwards and add in that knee drive. So hands are spread out wide, so you want the weight to be evenly distributed through the hands. You want to be pressing into the second knuckle, into the fingertips. That's going to protect the wrists. Keeping the core engaged for that long spine, making sure the shoulder blades are coming apart. Sending the hips back towards the heels as much as you can, keeping the hips towards the back of the room, the knees low, and that's really going to fire up the quads. So getting into the quads here, a muscle that, again, from everyday activities can end up quite weak. So if you do a lot of sitting at a chair, that can cause the quads not be quite as strong as the hammies. You can end up with a little bit of imbalances in the muscles that are tight and the muscles that are weaker or looser. So just thinking about finding that strength here. Thinking about moving slowly with control. Remember, you can welcome to just drop down to the knees, take a little breather if you need to. So this is our bolt exercise, really great full body exercise. Getting into quads, into abs, shoulders and arms. Remember to breathe. Nice work. Working here for 5 slow controlled movements. 4, really controlled squeeze. 3, 2, and 1. Come down to table there. From there, we're going to take a quick little shoulder stretch. Left hand to the sky. Inhale, open out through the chest. Exhale, take that left shoulder down to the mat. Walking the right hand out in front of you, taking a little stretch through the left shoulder. Just taking a moment to reset, to breathe. Find a little bit of space in that left shoulder. Inhaling. Exhaling, just a little stretch out there. For 3, deep breaths in. And releasing through the shoulders. Just shimmy yourself around. Find somewhere that feels good. 2. 1 more deep breath in. And out. From there, coming back through center, left hand plants, right hand lifts. Inhale. And exhale, placing that right shoulder down onto the mat. Left hand can walk out in front of you. And we're just again taking a quick little stretch through that right shoulder. Feeling the spine extend, focusing on a sense of length through the back body. Deep breaths in. And out. Just feeling that lovely stretch in the shoulders. Just got 1 more plank-based exercise. And we're going to come up to standing. Working here for another 3. Deep breaths in. And out. 2. And 1. Come up through center there. From there, we're going to come on down to the forearms, finding our way into a forearm plank. Elbows are into the mat, squeezing in the core. You're very welcome to stay here. We're getting a little bit more into the shoulders. Nice strong work for the abs as well. From there, we're going to lift up 1 foot, and we're just going to move out and in lateral movements. Thinking about pointing the toes. Working for 4 or 5, and then switching over, keeping the hips low. Thinking about not moving the toes out, but feel that work in the upper glutes and the outer leg. Keeping the core engaged. If that's too much, you can just take 1 out, 1 out. Doesn't have to be a repeat set. If you want to make it harder, you can pulse, and you'll really get into the outer glutes there. So come all the way out, pulse for 5, come back in. So we're getting into the outer glutes here. Really squeeze. Think about glute max, glute med. Keeping the core engaged. Remember, you can just hold that forearm plank if you need to. If you start to get tired, you can also just start to tap out to side, just tapping one toe down, one toe down. So lots of options there. Remember, you're welcome to switch around between levels. Just keep focusing on control, on the breath, on maintaining that lovely extension through the upper back. Make sure the shoulder blades don't start to drop. Nice work. Working here for 5. Almost there. Coming up to standing next. 4. Deep breaths in and out. 3, 2, and 1. Drop the hips down. Find a quick little Sphinx stretch. So just dropping the hips down, shoulders relaxed. Inhale. Exhale. Just taking one more deep, full breath in. And hands under the shoulders, pressing up to the knees or to plank. And from there, we're just going to walk the feet towards the hands, finding our way into a floppy forward fold. Maybe just have a little shake there, a little wiggle, thinking about finding space in the hamstrings and the lower back, feeling the spine extend. Maybe just lifting the hips a little higher over the heels, and from there really encouraging the spine to drape and relax, the head and the skin soften, the shoulders relax. Taking one more deep breath in, and from there, ground down with the feet, engage the core root to rise, lift, extend, stretching all the way up to the sky, and bringing the hands to heart center. All right, great stuff. So we're going to start off with just a little bit of balance work. So it's going to turn around arm and mat. So nice and easy. So finding a nice strong posture, thinking about grounding down with the feet, engaging the core, slight tuck of the pelvis. We're just going to take little heel raises with arm lift. So nice and soft. We're thinking about keeping the core engaged. Imagine the crown of the head reaches up to the sky, keeping the shoulders soft and lowering. So just starting to feel into our balance. Thinking about recruiting the abdominals, the quads, the glutes to help out. Deep inhale. Exhale. So we're going to move into quite a fiery lower body sequence. So just starting to find this little flow. Perfect. Taking one more little lift. Inhale. And lower. Release. Perfect. From there, we're going to take the feet out wide. We're going to take the fingertips to the temples, elbows out, thinking about a slight external rotation through the toes, squeezing in the core. Inhale and exhale. We're going to sink down low. So make sure here the bum is coming out behind you. The knees are going to be moving backwards, so they're stacking over the hips. So just come down as low as you can, and then we're going to squeeze on up. So try as much as you can to keep the chest lifted. We're taking the hands in this position both to help extend the spine and really feel that opening through the chest. So we're thinking about that stretch through the chest, similar to that hip thrust that we took earlier. You want to keep the shoulders down. So slow, controlled, feel that squeeze to lift and controlling that mover down. If you want to make it harder again, we're thinking about lowering, keep that chest lifted, strong long spine, and then work opposite elbow to knee, standing crunch twist. Great work for the obliques, and we're working on balance as well. Balancing, a great skill to develop, as well as a great way to work on abdominal strength and strengthen the legs. So we're sinking down low, squeeze, and when you're ready, start to twist. Don't worry about how far you go. Try to make it controlled. So one of the things we're trying to develop here is the ability to move slowly through asymmetrical movements through balance. Really important for injury prevention. A great way to build strength and control. Option to take it further again, we're going to take opposite elbow to knee, and then you can extend arm and leg and return back to that little squat. So we're thinking about lifting opposite elbow to knee, extend arms, open through the chest, extend that leg and return. So when we come up to the top of our balance, do keep some awareness into what's going on in the standing leg. Thinking about the quad and the glute, engaging. Try to keep that sense of strength in the legs. Remember, loads of work for the core as well, all balancing, fantastic for the core. We're warming up the legs, mobilizing through the spine here as well. Working here for another 5, slow and controlled, squeeze, remember to breathe. 4, well done. 3, 2, and 1, release. Give yourself a little shoulder roll, a little shake out, and then we're coming back into the center of the mat. So we're going to take our lateral lunge now. So from the center of your mat, you're going to take the hands out in front of you, you're going to step out wide. Make sure the knee is stacking over the ankle, the hips are sending out behind you. You're finding a stretch down the inside of the leg. We're powering into this glute. Keep the core engaged and lift, and then you're stepping back with control. So stepping out wide. Make sure the butt is coming out behind you. Really feel that power, that squeeze, and then slowly, with control, feel the power in both legs help bring you back. So we're thinking about squeezing, stepping up. So this is a great way to build some strength in legs while mobilizing and while stretching. If you want to advance this, we're taking it into a knee drive. You can use the hands out behind you. So we're stepping out wide, and then we're taking one fluid motion, driving knee to chest. Great way to get into the abs. Of course, if you prefer, you can also step down halfway through and then take that knee drive if you need to find an intermediate option. So option to just keep those lunges, option to take the knee out in front of you. So thinking about working at your level, thinking about those slow squeezy movements. Really feel those core muscles engage as you drive that knee up to the chest. Remember, the spine stays long, the shoulders down the back. So we're taking these lovely lateral movements. It's hopefully feeling a little bit more space in the lower body now. Maybe a little bit of heat. Hang on in there, we're almost there. Working here for another 5. So stepping out wide, squeezing, shoulders back, long spine. 4. Well done. 3. Try to keep control even as you fatigue. Remember, you're welcome to switch around between levels. 2. And 1. Nice work. All right, great stuff. Give yourself a little shake out. And then from there, we're going to roll down, walk the hands and the feet back into a plank position. Hands underneath the shoulders, toes are stretching back. From there, we're just going to take a little twisting side plank. So just going to roll onto one side, reach up tall, stretch up, opening through the chest, strong through the core, returning through center. And we're going to take that on the other side, so pressing up tall. If you want to take that down a level, we're working from the knees. We're just extending, stretching out with one side, slowly returning through center and taking that lovely stretch on the other side. So we're just taking a little mobilization, a little bit of a twist. Again, we're working through the core, start to feel the whole body come back into play. Working here with control, with power for 5. Squeeze the core. Just a quick little transition to take us to a little seated section. 4, pressing those hips up high. Try to return hands to floor with control. 3. Nice way to open through the chest. 2. And 1, release. From there, dropping the knees down to the floor. And we're just going to swing both legs out in front of us. So we're going to start off with a nice and easy double leg forward fold, soft bend through the knees. Remember, do use a strap if you need to. So if you need to sit up on a brick, if you need to grab a strap, rock on. So I'm feeling super tight today, so I'm going to use a strap. So if you start off with a bend in the knees, just shimmy the hips out behind you. From there, we're going to inhale, lift on up, angle the body forwards, and start to take a forward fold. If, like me, you're feeling very stiff, this might be your forward fold for today, for now, and that's awesome. If you want to grab a strap or a t-shirt or an old towel, anything you've got, and take that around the balls of the feet, that can really help extend the lower back. Remember, what we're trying to do here is, as we move forwards, keep the spine long. So thinking about inhale, extending, lengthening the spine. From there, we're hinging at the hips, moving forwards, and then downwards. So hopefully finding a little bit of space through the whole back body, and try to breathe. Inhaling. Exhaling. So lovely, big, deep stretch through the hamstrings, through the lower back. Finding flexibility in these areas, super important for spinal health as well as strength. Working here for 3. Inhale. So we're just stretching along. Shoulders relaxing. 2. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. From there, rolling on up, and we're going to move into a dynamic twist. So we're going to take the legs out wide here. So we are moving into our saw exercise. So if that's not very accessible to you, you're welcome to sit up on a brick. Or, of course, if you're feeling super tight today, you can also take a cross-legged variation. So do feel free to sit up. I quite like to plant the hands, angle the body forwards a bit, actively move my butt out of the way, just to find that grounding through the sit bones. From there, we're squeezing in the core, keeping the spine long, taking the arms out wide. Inhaling, exhale, hand to foot, inhale through center, exhale, reaching over. So this is an awesome little exercise. We are thinking about squeezing in the core. We're finding mobility through the spine. This is a great way to release all of those muscles in the lower back. We're keeping the feet and legs active on the mat. A lovely way to get into hips and hamstrings using the breath. So inhale to lift, exhale to reach over. So dynamic stretching here. We're moving to stretch, inhale, exhale, stretching out. So really lovely way to strengthen, mobilize, and stretch in one go. Make sure you've got that core engaged. Make sure you're lifting actively up through center as you come through that lifted central position. Shoulders are moving around the back. Chest is opening. Inhale, exhale. So don't worry if you can't reach all the way across. Just work at your level. Inhale to lift, lift, lift. Exhale, twist. Working here for 5. Inhale. Exhale, moving across. So lots of lovely work here for the twisting and getting into the lower back today. Really great for digestion as well. Lift, lift, lift. 3. Well done. Almost there. 2. And 1. Fantastic work. From there, we're going to swing the legs back out in front of us. And we're going to take our L-sit to reverse table. So remember, you can just take a reverse table press, planting the hands forward, engaging the core, pressing the hips up high, squeezing the glutes, opening out through the chest, and lowering with control. You're very welcome to stay there, just working at that level. If you want to pop those hips right through the hands into an L-sit, and then press on up, feel free. So L-sit, with the legs are out in front of you, just slow that bit down, squeezing the core, angle the body forwards, pressing, and then you can rock back into that reverse table, and then you're pulling the hips through the hands, keeping the hips off the mat, using the abs and the arms to help there. So option to just take that reverse table if you prefer. Option to pull the hips through. A fab little exercise for the abs and the arms, and then we're really powering it up. Don't forget about the glutes and the quads at the top of that movement. Working here for 5. So thinking about that control, thinking about that squeeze. Deep breaths in that. 4. Power, power, power. Lift at the top. 3. Well done. Almost there. 2. And 1. Awesome work. Releasing there. Awesome. Right. We're going to move into a little crunch section here. So we're going to work the top, the bottom, and then a full sit up. So grounding down with the feet, engage the core. Palms are going to come up to the knees. Chin to chest, we're squeezing the core, rolling down, keeping the feet grounded, just coming as far as you can, and then lift on up, shoulders down the back. So we're thinking about really slowly rolling down. This is a movement that comes all from the abs, chin to chest, make sure the neck is protected, and then we're rising on up, pressing the chest forward at the top. Option, hands out in front of you. Slowly rolling down, and then it's that little bit harder to squeeze on up. Keeping the core engaged. Try to slowly move back with control and feel that power on the lift, shoulders back. So really, really, really slow and control. Try to keep those feet grounded. So we're just working the top half of a sit-up here. Really great way to feel into that strength that comes from lowering and lifting at the top of the range of motion. Sometimes we can rush this bit when we come into a full sit-up. It's really, really beneficial to practice here. We're using gravity as a little bit of extra resistance, so we're rolling on down, resisting gravity, and then we have to work against gravity to lift back up. Working here for another 5. Nice work, looking good. Keeping those shoulders down. You can really feel the lower abs have to work here. So it takes all of the neck out of a sit-up and makes us really fire into those lower abs. 4. Lifting the chest at the top. Keep feet grounded so you're not seesawing. 3. Well done. 2. And 1. We're going to roll all the way down to lie on our backs there. So finding your way right back down to lie on your back, knees in towards the chest, give yourself a little squeeze, a little stretch, finding some space in the lumbar spine and the hips. Awesome. From there, we're going to plant the feet down on, the hands down on the mat, squeeze the core, lower body stays in a little ball, and we are squeezing to lift and lower. So, fab little exercise for, again, targeting those lower abdominals. Essentially what we're doing here is we just took, as it were, the top half of a sit-up. This little exercise is getting into what would be the bottom half of the sit-up, is that strong contraction of the lower abdominals, which brings the chest and knees closer together. Taking it here in this supine position is a great way to take the neck out of the equation. So a great alternative to a roll-up or a sit-up if you find that you find that straining on the neck. So lifting, squeezing up, slowly rolling down, keeping the shoulders relaxed. Remember, the slower you go, the harder the work. Don't worry about depth. Don't worry about how far you come off the mat. Focus on control. So it's that strong squeeze, that contraction of the abdominals. The tailbone peels away from the mat and then lowering down. If you want to make it harder, you can extend the legs once the hips are lifted and then slowly release the spine down to the floor. And if you're feeling it, then take a double leg lower, lowering both legs at once and then coming on up. So squeeze, 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 lift, slow, lower, and back down again, or just stay with those pelvic rolls. So work at your level. Remember, really, really, really slow and controlled is the aim of the game here. Also, when you're taking that leg lower, try to just lower the legs as far as you can, keep the lower back on the floor. Remember to breathe. Remember to keep those abs squeezed in really tight. Perfect. Working here for 5. So slow and controlled. Squeezing to lift, extend and lower. 4. Well done. 3. So really strong and controlled. 2. And 1. Nice work. Give yourself a little squeeze. From there, plant the feet down on the mat. Take the arms out wide and give the legs a little windscreen wiper from side to side. So just a quick little mobilization through the hips, through the spine. Letting the shoulders relax. Nice. From there, we are coming back to our start of our sit-up position. So the feet are grounded, knees in the air. And we're going to put that together. So we can either take roll-ups, chin to chest, squeeze the core. Remember, it's the contraction of the abdominals, which is lifting the lower rib cage towards the top of the hips and down again. Do feel free to stay in that previous exercise, the pelvic rolls, if you prefer. If you want to take it into a full roll over, you're straightening the legs out long on the mat, flexing the feet, engage the core, chin to chest first, reaching up and over, extending the chest, and then we take a little forward fold. So a really nice way to slowly mobilize the spine, get into the abdominals. So feeling that lower and the lift from the abdominals, and try to make both controlled and powerful. If you want to take it further, you're planting the feet down, really slow, lower, and lift, taking it into a traditional sit-up, remembering to find control over all of the movement. So that same sense of control in the lower that we took in the first little section, and then powering into that lift. Thinking about finding nice sequential control of the spine. If you want to make it harder again, heels closer in towards the bum, makes it that little bit hard. Working here for 5, so slow, slow, controlled. 4, shoulders relaxed, chin to chest. 3, 2, and 1. Give yourself a little squeeze there, a little stretch. So next we're going to move into our side lying leg series. So if you just roll over onto one side, and we are going to set ourselves up for our side lying leg series. So a little bit of work for the inner and outer thigh, the glutes. So coming down to lie on your side, hip above hip. Remember, if you need to place a pillow underneath that hip for a little bit of extra support, do rock on, set yourself up. Hand can be under the head. That bottom foot can be bent or extended. We're thinking about flexing the top foot, and we're going to flex, lift to about 45 degrees, and then point to lower. Thinking about keeping the core engaged, we're flexing to lift. Really press out. You want to feel like every part of the leg is engaged. You're really feeling that power through the inner and outer thigh. So squeezing to press out, getting into the outer glutes here, the inner thigh, really important for the knees. I'm just going to be here for another 5, slow and controlled. Well done. 4, really power, 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 extend, keep the core engaged. 3, Well done. 2. And 1. Point that top foot, hover it about a foot or so over the top of the bottom foot, and then we're going to lift and lower that bottom foot, feeling that lovely power in the side body. Work hard to keep the hips from wiggling from side to side. We're lowering and lifting that bottom foot with control. Deep breaths in and out. Squeeze to lift and lower. Keep that top leg really active, working here for 5. Deep inhales. Exhales, lowering and lifting. 4, pointing the toes of that top foot. Keep that leg engaged. 3, 2, and 1. Lower both toes, and then we're going to lift both toes together. Getting into the side body, again getting to the outside of the legs, keeping the core engaged, remembering to breathe. So we're slow, lower and lift. Really fiery one. Great way to get into the outside of the legs for 5. Deep breaths in and out. Nice. 4. Slow and controlled. 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. From there, we're just going to swing around and take that all on the other side. So taking our side lying leg series on the other side, so just swing around so you're on the other side. And once again, just notice if you can stack yourself up, find that nice comfortable position. The core is engaged, hands are planted, flexing the top foot. Remember, you can bend that bottom knee or use a pillow if you need to. And we're flexing up and then lowering with control. Really pressing out with that foot, making sure that the muscles feel really strong and the core is engaged. Feeling the quad and the glute activate. Nice. So slow lowers and lifts for 5. Deep breaths in and out. Perfect. 4. Really squeeze. Focus on control. Working into the legs. 3. So we're powering up. Slow lower. 2. And 1. Point the top toes. Hover it about an inch, foot above the bottom one, and then we're lowering and lifting the bottom toes to meet it. So working into that bottom leg, we're keeping the top leg really strong as well, pointing the toes, finding that power. Try as much as you can to keep the core engaged. Try not to wiggle from side to side. This is all about control, this exercise. Perfect. Working here for 5, so slow, controlled movements. 4. Try not to wiggle. Keep that power. 3. Well done. 2. And 1. Lowering and lifting both legs now. So slow lower and powerful lift and squeeze. Deep breaths in and out. Well done. Strong through the core. Shoulders relaxed. Working here for 5. Deep breaths in and out. Working to that side body, into the outer glute. 4. 3. Really powerful, really strong. 2. 1 more. And release. Well done. From there, we're just going to come right on down to lie on our backs. And we'll take a quick little stretch. So taking your left ankle onto the right knee, and then we're going to take the hands through to the back of the right leg and start to pull that in, or if it's comfortable, you might bring it all the way down to that right shin. So we're finding a supine pigeon here, getting right into their back and the outside of that left leg. Shoulders are relaxed, and breath is steady. Inhaling. Exhale. Inhaling. Maybe finding a little bit more space. Exhaling, relaxing into that space. Working here for 5. Deep breaths in. And shoulders relaxed. 4. Inhaling. Exhaling. 3. 2. 1 more. Really deep breath in. And from there, we're just going to let that left leg continue over to be on top of right. If you want to start to pull the ankles away from each other, you should feel a nice juicy stretch down the back of the left leg, through the back of the right leg. A little supine happy cow. Work the lower body quite hard here, so just finding some space. Working here for just another 3. Inhale. Exhale. 2. 1 more deep breath in. And from there, swapping over, right ankle onto the left knee, and we're just starting to hug through, finding that lovely stretch down the back of the right leg, shoulders relaxed, stretching in there, finding that lovely deep stretch through the outside and the back of the right leg. Just snuggle yourself down, find a point that feels comfortable, and breathe. Inhaling and exhaling. So finding that lovely stretch, just working there for 3, inhaling, exhale, 2, one more deep full breath in, and from there just let that right foot continue over on top of the left and start to draw the ankles away from each other. So we're finding a big old stretch right down through the back of the right leg and just letting the shoulders and the head relax. Deep inhales and exhales. So lovely big deep stretch there for 3, inhaling, exhaling, 2, one more deep breath in, and from there unraveling the legs, taking the arms out wide, knees over hips, lower back on the floor, palms to the sky. Inhale and exhale, slowly, slowly, slowly lowering your legs to one side, squeezing the abs to lift up through center and lowering the legs to the other side. Thinking about engaging the core, finding that lift through center, making sure the lower back stays on the floor and lowering. So here we're thinking about keeping the arms wide, so we're starting to open through the chest. You can make this less demanding by just decreasing the range of motion, so a little bit from one side to the other. More demanding, the legs come up into the air, and you can increase that lever length or increase the range of motion. Key points to think about here is the lower back coming onto the floor as you come through center, and try as much as you can to avoid any sense that you are swinging the legs. Instead, feel that you're squeezing the abs in and you're lowering them to one side, lifting, lifting, lifting through center and coming back. So squeeze your movements, working here for 5. So we lift and stretch up, 4, shoulders relaxed. Finding that lovely mobilization through the lower back, as well as space in the chest. 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. Give yourself a quick little squeeze there, quick little stretch. And from there, we're going to take our final lower abs exercise. We're going to flip the knees out over the hips, and I can either stay there, you can extend the legs away. If you can, we'll bring chin to chest, squeezing in the core. Remember, knees can be bent or straight. And if you're feeling it, hands over the head, so stop at any of these points. If you feel like taking a little hollow body rocker, rock on. So we're squeezing in the core, keeping that lovely sense of strength right down from toes to knees. If you prefer just to beat the arms, chin to chest, or just hold the legs out, feel free. So a hollow body rocker, a Rose 100, whatever feels good. We're just finding that lovely squeeze of the core. Make sure if the shoulders are off the mat, if you're taking that rocker, or if you are taking a hold, make sure you've got chin to chest. If you're taking that hold of the legs in the air, make sure the lower back is on the floor. If the lower back starts to arch, that's when you bend the knees. So working here for 5, almost there, squeeze. We're going to take a little stretch up this. 4, deep breaths in and out, well done. 3, 2, we got this, and 1, well done. Release. Give yourself a lovely little squeeze and stretch. And from there, extend the left leg out long on the mat, hug in with the right knee. Take the left hand to the right knee and draw the right knee across the chest, extending the right arm out long away from you, letting the right hand and the right knee move, stretch and reach out. Inhale and exhale, relax that right shoulder down. Deep, full breaths in. And so just letting that right shoulder soften, breathing into the outside of the right leg, relaxing down here. Inhaling and exhaling, lovely full breaths for 3, deep inhale, exhale, 2, just mobilizing through the spine, finding some space on the outside of that right leg, And one, swapping on over. Right leg is extending, hugging in with the left knee and taking that little twist on the other side. Right hand to left knee, drawing the left knee across the body, extending the left hand out long away from you. And breathe, inhaling. Exhaling. Left shoulder is releasing down, finding that lovely space in the outside of the left leg. Steady flow with the breath in. And out. Working here for 3 deep breaths in. And really important just to stretch out after all that hard work. 2. And 1, moving towards a happy baby. So coming through center, taking the hands around the bottom of the knees, either drawing the knees in towards the armpits, or if it's available to you, taking the fingertips to the big toes, drawing the knees in towards the armpits. If you can also hold on around the outer edges of the feet if you're feeling pretty limber, just subtly changes how this stretch pans out. Thinking about pressing the lower back down to the floor, shoulders down, the back of the neck long, and we're finding this really lovely stretch through the whole of the back body and through the hips. Remember, you're welcome to extend out with one leg, extend out with the other, whatever feels nice. Just a final little semi-inversion, resetting the body and finding space. Working here for another 3. Inhale. Exhale, soft shoulders. 2. And 1. Nice. From there, just bring the soles of the feet together or extend the legs out wide on the mat. Tucking the shoulders down the back of the neck long, and breathe, relax. Inhaling and exhaling, just letting yourself settle down, find a little bit of softness, eyes softening, forehead relaxing. Just taking another 3, inhale, exhale. 2. One more really deep, full breath in. And out. From there, drawing the knees in, give yourself a little squeeze, little stretch. And we're going to rock up and over or vulnerable on one side and find your way to a final comfortable seat. So finding the sit bones down, thinking about the spine being long. And from there, inhale, reach up. Interlock the hands and turn the palms up to the sky, stretching out through the side body. Deep inhale. Exhale. Take chin to chest, press the backs of the hands towards the front of the room, draw the shoulders down and back, thinking about getting into the upper back. Deep breath in. And out. And finally, just give yourself a little shoulder roll, have a little shimmy out, and have an awesome rest of your day. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining. See you all soon. Well done team, at home, on Insta, on Facebook.